Right, welcome to another Satchel class. I'm Mr. Castrillon, and today our topic is gonna be called Compre, Ropa. It's a very important topic actually that shows a lot of what you know in terms of Spanish grammar. So today, what we are going to be doing is we are going to be checking activities that we do at the shops. And I'm going to tell you what I did at the shops yesterday. We're going to learn the past tense with a special group of verbs in Spanish. We're going to describe what we did yesterday at the shops. Hoy vamos a identificar actividades que hacemos en las tiendas, aprender el tiempo pasado con un grupo especial de verbos, describir lo que hicimos ayer en las tiendas. As you can see, I have underlined some of the words that we have on our special lesson. We have shops, las tiendas, past tense, tiempo pasado, and yesterday, ayer. Really important. Shops and yesterday are important words that we use in everyday Spanish. So it's good to be familiar with them. So what did I do yesterday at the shops? ¿Qué hice yo ayer? Well, I arrived early. Then I ordered a drink. I then drank a glass of apple juice. I bought some clothes. I saw many people. I spoke to my best friend. And then I returned home at 6 in the evening. As you can see, I have listed different activities. They all start with I because it's what I did, but also they all are in past tense in English. Now, really important is that all of these sentences are going to be translated into past tense into Spanish. And that's what we're going to do today. So the first thing I want you to have a look is the original verb. We call this the infinitive. So what is the infinitive for arrive or to arrive? Is llegar. To order is ordenar. To drink is tomar. To buy is comprar. To see, mirar. To speak, hablar. To return, regresar. So I'm going to give you a few seconds for you to write down these words with the infinitive. As I said, it is the original verb. It's the main verb, and we are going to use it today. So take about a minute to write them down because they're going to be very important for the rest of the lesson. And practice the pronunciation. Llegar, ordenar, tomar, comprar, mirar, hablar, regresar. And I want you to pay attention to the ending because that is the most important part of today's lesson. That ending, the AR. Just a few more seconds before we continue. Always check your spelling, that your spelling is correct. Don't miss any letters. As when you're doing your writing piece, it's going to be very important for you to keep very good grammar as well as spelling. Okay, so we have all these verbs that I actually used to describe what I did yesterday. So these verbs belong to a group, and they are the group of the AR verbs. They're also regular. That means that the verbs are not going to change too much when we are actually conjugating the verb. Now, the word conjugation means that you change the verb to make it into past or future, or to make it sound if it is one person or two people, if it is me, if it is you. So you basically change the verb. Now, these regular verbs ending AR are common, very common, and is the largest group of verbs in the Spanish language. So let's say I've got comprar. I'm going to use this one as an example. And I want to say, I bought. So what do we do in Spanish in order to show that? Well, the first thing I need to look at is the ending itself, the AR. And with this ending, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove it, and then I'm going to attach a different ending to it. That ending is going to be the ending I, compre. That literally means I bought. By the way, we do have a word for I, which is yo, yo. But we tend to leave it out because by saying compre, you are already telling everyone that the person who did the activity was yourself. So we do that with every single one of the verbs that we have here. So for example, we have I arrived, llegué. I ordered, ordené. I drank, tomé. I bought, compré. I saw, miré. I spoke, hablé. I returned, regresé. As you can see, all of these verbs end in E with the small accent, the tiny little line at the top. Now, that means that you need to extend the sound of the E in Spanish. So instead of saying llegue, you say llegué. And that shows that there is a stress on the last syllable of that word. Also very important is that all of these are I. So if I wanted to say or use a different person, if I want to say to or he or she, the ending will be different. And we'll see that in a minute. So here we go. I have comprar again. So I have I compré, or you compraste, or he, she compró. We compramos. You comprasteis. They compraron. So once again, what we keep is the actual root of the verb, which is this one here. We don't do anything to that. What changes is the actual ending. And that's why they are regular verbs. They don't change apart from the ending itself. Now, something really important that we need to bear in mind is that all of these words, yes, comprar, compraste, compró, also can be used with the pronoun. I could say yo compré, or tú compraste, or él compró. But because we have the ending, we don't need to use those words in Spanish. You're free to do so, but if you don't do it, you're not actually committing or making a mistake. So let's try and see how I described what I did yesterday. So once again, I want you to give it a try, and let's see where you're able to translate these sentences into Spanish. I'm going to give you the rest of the vocabulary, and I'm going to give you a challenge. Try different pronouns. Try different words. So for instance, instead of saying I, try we. We is really easy because the ending is going to be A-M-O-S, amos. And that ending is going to work a lot in Spanish for present. So just give it a try and see what you can get. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to translate as many sentences as possible and try different pronouns. Once you're doing your translation, I'm going to pronounce the words that are in the box. Una bebida, that means a drink. Un vaso, a glass. Zumo de manzana, apple juice. By the way, in South America, instead of saying zumo, we say jugo. But it's more common to say in Spanish zumo because it's in Spain. A las 6, at 6. Best, mejor. Clothes, ropa. Early, temprano. Friend, amigo, amiga. Home, a casa. That I is in brackets because it goes with the word uh, I returned home. So we say I returned a casa. In the evening, de la tarde, de la noche. Many, mucho, muchas, o mucha. My, me. Okay, so let's see what these sentences look like in Spanish. Llegué temprano. Ordené una bebida. Tomé un vaso de zumo de manzana. Compré ropa. Miré mucha gente. Hablé con mi mejor amigo. Regresé a casa a las 6 de la noche. So all of these sentences are in past tense. As you can see, all I did was I changed the end of each one of those words. Now, there is a very important case, which is llegar. So llegar ends in G. And as you can hear, I am making a good sound, llegar. So when I'm going to put this word in past tense, I cannot say that because it sounds llegué. And in Spanish, we need that good sound to stay there. So that's why we put a U in that case. Always remember that that is the situation in that case. Llegué. Okay. Now let's have a look at a longer text. We have a paragraph here, and I would like you to conjugate the infinitive form of each verb into first person singular in past tense. Here we go. So, ayer, visitar el Museo de Arte Moderno de Barcelona. Admirar muchas obras de arte, entre ellas las de Gaudí. También escuchar una charla sobre el arte en la ciudad de Barcelona. Luego, hablar con un experto en arte sobre las diferentes esculturas en el museo. Finalmente, comprar varias tarjetas postales para mi mejor amigo en el Reino Unido. So what I would like you to do is I want you to check those verbs and turn those verbs into first person singular, which means I, in past tense. In other words, I visited, I admired, I listened to, I spoke, I bought. How would you say that in Spanish? Take a minute to do so. 1 more minute left. 30 seconds left. Well, let's have a look and see what these words look like in Spanish in past tense. Here we go. Visité, admiré, escuché, hablé, compré. So as you can see, they're very straightforward, really easy to remember, and all of them are regular verbs ending in E, accented or stressed E, and most importantly, they are in past tense. Now, what if we actually get a text like this and we are asked some questions. So let's try and see where we can actually extract some information out of it. So we have these questions. When did Carlos visit the museum? What did he admire? What did he listen to whilst at the museum? Who did he talk to about sculptures? And what did he buy and for whom? And for whom? Now, something very important here is always keep an eye on those keywords when you are doing your reading exercise. So, for instance, always remember that there will be keywords like ayer, horas de arte. That's another very important word. That's another one there that is important. Another keyword. And then another one. So when we actually have these reading exercises, the most important thing is look at the keywords. Also try and see those words that look very similar to English. For instance, charla, chat, experto, expert, esculturas, sculptures. And of course, there are some words that you already know, like amigo, and most people already know what amigo means in Spanish. So let's see where you can actually find out what the meaning is of these different, or what the answers are for these different questions. So, when did he visit the museum? Well, he did it yesterday, ayer. What did he admire? He admired obras de arte, pieces of work, or work of art. Charla, that's what he listened to whilst at the museum. He listened to a lecture or a small chat, a small talk about arts. Who did he talk to about the sculptures? Well, to an expert. Finally, what did he buy and for whom? Well, he bought that. He bought some postcards for his best friend in the United Kingdom. Well, I hope you have enjoyed today's lesson. And well, let's see what we've managed to end with at the end of the lesson. Well, you should be able to conjugate AR regular verbs in first person past tense. You should be able to understand short sentences in past tense. And finally, you should be able to extract information from paragraphs written in past tense. So remember, all we need to do is we change the AER into E if we want to say I did something in the past. And that's with all the regular verbs that end in AEAR. All the verbs that are not regular will have the same ending, but what is going to change is the actual root of the verb. Like, for instance, verbs like querer, quería, quise. So those verbs will change a lot, and we'll go over those ones in another lesson. For the time being, I wish you the very best, and I hope I can see you very soon here in another Satchel class. See you later. Bye.